Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so I recently had to go get my car replaced. I was driving a Kia Forte. It finally died on me. And I prayed really hard during this time period. I mean, granted, the whole ordeal lasted less than a week, but I prayed really hard for two things. Number one, obviously, pray that I get a good car out of it. That's obvious. But the less obvious prayer was to let the world be more friendly to me as I'm dealing with this drama. A lot of times, I'm dealing with something already stressful, right? So, for example, maybe I'm having a relationship matter, maybe dealing with job stresses, right? Everybody can run into that, right? Illness or a death in the family or something that's manageable, right? I think we've all gone through those things, but then the outside world is really hostile and screaming at you. That's when my circuits really fry. I had a problem like that that led to me moving out of. I was living with a friend of mine, and I discovered that we don't respect each other's boundaries very well. So I ended up moving out. But what led to me moving out is kind of interesting. I was already dealing with dating drama. What had happened was that I had some relationship turbulence. I was See, I have a hard time with focus. Like noises like this, that nothing. It makes it hard for me to focus, right? So imagine in my head, I'm already digesting. How do I deal with this dating drama? And people incessantly make noise at me. I mean, this is not too bad, but so in my mind, I'm already digesting. How do I deal with this dating situation or workplace situation or car situation? And then my roommate just jabbers about something else. I my circuits will fry when that happens. It's hard for me to explain. Or I'm here. Part of the reason I've been hanging out at the library a lot these days is that all of the staff members know a little bit about my quirks, and and they know that I was in the middle of replacing the car, and so I had a better environment, right? Not ideal, but than other places that I could have gone these last few days when I was replacing my car. But I don't like the way that Americans bark at each other, right? Even if something were to go off, right? So, for example, um, last year when I was dealing with hot weather and COVID-19, and I quote unquote loitered where I shouldn't, I still think the security guard could have. He have talked to me? Yeah, of course, but how he approached it, right? Instead of barking at me without making assumptions about what I'm doing, at least try to find out a little bit more, right? I don't know why we have this hostility that we can't connect with people, right? At the workplace, the other day, I was so distracted by one of my students turning in his homework late that I forgot that I made a mess in the microwave. I still think the coworker, he could have talked to me much more gently than the way he did, right? Um, I'm so glad I have some mental capacity now that the car's been replaced and all my stuff has been moved to the new car. I have a little space now, and I'm trying to resolve some other issues now. I don't know why. When I'm already worried, where's the new car gonna come from? How am I gonna move all my stuff into the new car? And then somebody jabbers away. Oh my God, my mental circuits are gonna fry. Let me talk about what happened with my last roommate. I was already dealing with drama in one relationship, and then I was at the student union. There's a student there that I think she has a crush on me, and she had finally made the move on me, and I told her what I taught, and I asked her if she'd like to come see our engineering lab. And to my surprise, she came with me, and had a good conversation all the way from the student union, walking from the student union to the engineering lab. And by the time I was done with that encounter, I was completely drained already. And I had a class to teach that day. Somehow I got through that class. On my way home, I passed by one of my favorite grocery stores, and I stop off, and wouldn't you know it, they finally restocked one thing that I've been waiting for a very long time. I hate it to even mention what it is because it has so now we got two of the biggest stressors in my life: dating problems and eating disorders. Those are probably two of the most stressful things in my life that I just gone through. And now my roommate, I finally get home. I'm like, I gotta dig into that food. I really need some heaven now. And my roommate starts to jabber about how his water heater had died. Nothing of my doing. And I said, could you please give me space? And as soon as he heard that I needed that precious space, that was the last thing he wanted to give me. You got to remember, he's an alcoholic. I recognize I made some mistakes, but he jabbers, and my mental circuits are just completely blown. And I did some things that I shouldn't have done. I, I will agree. I don't know. Am I still connected? My Wi-Fi is going crazy. But apologies if the Wi-Fi disconnected. What I was saying is that during my time living there, I boasted a few things that maybe I shouldn't have, and it created a little bit of resentment. After all, I think between the two of us, I probably had the more desirable job than he did, and I was talking to him about my dating, and perhaps it created a little bit of resentment. And now looking back at it, I realized the error in judgment. But that particular day, his jabbering was just the last straw. My mental circuits completely fried when he did that. And I don't know if a lot of people can appreciate that, but the next time you want to jabber at somebody, yell at somebody in public, just think that here's a little life hack. You want to talk to somebody sitting across the table from you at the library, pretend that 2 hours ago they had just learned that they had cancer, and use the kind of tone that you would at that person. If you do that, the chances of you ticking somebody off go down dramatically, right? Chances are you're not going to talk to somebody who just came from that, but you could run into somebody like that, right? All right, this is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.